welcome back to Spinning Prog with me, Tara, and we have a bit of a familiar face back with us today. The love of my life, my fiance, Cody Brockway of Brockway's Vinyl Bites.
What's up, y'all?
So it's been a while since I've had Cody on, and he's been asking me to come back. So he's here today.
Well, I love doing these things together, I love having you on my channel, too, and this is essentially what brought us together initially, right? So
yeah, well, look, here we're back together, and we have a bit of an interesting one today. So I was thinking about, there's so many, epic prog tunes out there that we don't know about. We just kind of, when you say epic tune, you just go straight to the stuff like Close to the Edge and Supper's Ready and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, but there's so many hidden gems in there. And I wanted to talk about a few of those today. So I've picked 5 and Cody's picked 5. So we'll kind of go shot for shot here. So I'll go first.
This is quite the mixtape.
Ladies first. Now, this is from a very well-known classic band. Yes. But they had 2 epic tracks that were pushed onto the Keys to Ascension stuff. And not many people know about that. Something I noticed lately as well is, how do younger people discover music and stuff these days?
20-second clips.
They stream. And Keys to Ascension isn't on most of the streaming platforms. So they're not going to know about these tunes. So the one I have chosen is Mind Drive. Absolutely unreal song. Total goosebumps, orchestral, insane Rick Wakeman solo in there. Chris Squire is just face melting on his bass. Like, the whole thing is just unreal.
Yeah.
And it was just pushed onto that album and never given a proper release. So that's my number 1. Cody, what you got?
That's a great choice. I've chosen, I really took the assignment and did my own thing with it. From an otherwise non-prog band, arguably, although I think they have lots of progressive elements. This song is kind of the pinnacle of their progressive elements, and of course it is the Grateful Dead and Terrapin Station. It's a really big, it's called the Terrapin Station medley or suite or whatever, right? But essentially it's one side of an album. It's the best side of that album. Side 1 is okay, side 2 is the best. And it's this long piece that has bits that it harks back to at the end, and really cool percussive elements, and great storytelling all throughout. It's a very conceptual song. It's different pieces of music that work well together and then reprises itself at the end. It's very awesome, and it's very proggy. And if you're one of these guys that just kind of wrote off the Grateful Dead as just whatever you maybe think they are, they're a lot more than that, and this song really proves that. And so yeah, 16 minutes of brilliance, Terrapin Station, the Grateful Dead, from a big fan, of course, and I know what to recommend to the proggers in their catalog.
Yeah, I think I was guilty of that as well, because I'd only heard American Beauty and the live album before I met Cody, because the Grateful Dead aren't really as big in Ireland as they would be over this side of the pond.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, have you ever heard Terrapin Station? I was like, no. And I was like, I don't really like their stuff, to be honest. It's not for me. And he's like, well, just listen to this. And he played it for me, and I was going, smoke was coming out my ears, and I was going, this is class.
Yeah, they do have other stuff like that in the catalog too. I just got to pull it out for you.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, that was very good though. So I agree, that is very underrated. My next one, another classic band, and I feel like this was pushed down in the catalogue, Stagnation by Genesis. Now, I know a lot of people here, prog connoisseurs and stuff, are going to be going, that's not underrated, blah, everyone knows about that. But let's be realistic here. Everyone knows Genesis or likes certain eras of them. And this was a very early era. Then Steve Hackett came into the band, and that's where most people kind of sit, is in the Steve Hackett era. And then it goes into the 80s era with the trio. But Trespass, I feel like people pick the knife off of it because it was on the live album. And that's like the epic tune from it. But Stagnation, I feel like just gets totally forgotten about. And it's such a good tune. I know they kind of reprised that riff from it a few times when they played live in the big kind of In the Cage medley that they did. But as a whole, the song is fantastic. The lyricism in it is brilliant. Like I said, Tony Banks is on fire in that tune. The whole thing is just fabulous, totally epic, and I personally feel like it gets completely pushed down in the catalogue. So that's my second pick.
That's a great choice. And my next pick is yeah, you can't really go wrong with Genesis. I almost went for Genesis, maybe Driving the Last Spike or something from a later period, but a lot of that stuff gets a lot of recognition, especially with Genesis fans. But you're right, that one's kind of an outlier, even to people who are diehards of Genesis, like myself. I mean, I know the song, but yeah, no, great, cool, interesting choice.
Thank you.
You're the best. Okay, so I'm going to go modern with my next one. This is from 2013, and this is probably this band's most famous song. And in recent years, this band has picked up a lot of traction. Of course, a lot of recognition from other famous people like Mike Portnoy and stuff have given this band lots of plugs, and they've been doing the Cruise to the Edge thing. But there's a lot of proggers that still don't know about them, and I reckon that some of you will. But if you're following either Spin in Prague, which you're watching this on, or Brockway's Vinyl Bites, maybe you do, maybe you don't know about this band. But if you like the heaviness of Metallica and Black Sabbath and the progginess of, say, Gentle Giant and, I don't know, Spock's Beard or Neil Morse, whatever else, then I think you'll really appreciate this, because this is very much like a metal Gentle Giant song. And it is Haken and Cockroach King. Haken have so many great songs I could have chose for this, but this is really a great one to sort of show the classic proggers, like, well, look what's happening now, you know what I mean? Because it takes that element of the Gentle Giant weirdness and funkiness and sort of brings it into a new era. And it's an 8.5-minute song. It's probably the shortest song on my list. But it's really brilliant, and when you listen to it, you can't help but think that this might be the greatest band on the planet.
Very innovative band, very, very strange sound. Really kind of have their own sound, actually.
Yeah, they do. I mean, I find it easier to compare them to like heavy bands and like bands like Gentle Giant. So like I always kind of say if Gentle Giant meant Metallica, whatever, but that's not to say that they don't have their own sound, because they absolutely do. They're also a bit genty in certain spots, but they really do their own thing, and there's no one else out there right now that sounds like them. Haken, Cockroach King, from the album The Mountain. You should check out the whole record, really, but that song.
Nice. Yeah, another one you introduced me to, actually. I hadn't even heard of them before I met you.
There you go.
So hopefully some people here will be watching and they will check them out, because they're very young and they're going to be on tour a lot, you know, because they're just chomping at the bit, like, to get going. So I hope I get to see them.
I've seen him.
Yeah, Cody's seen everyone because he lives an hour away from Toronto, like, so everyone comes here. It's not fair.
Well, so do you now.
I know. My next pick is a band that I discovered because a subscriber of mine sent me a few albums a while ago. Gert van der Werf. I don't know if he's still here. I think he left when my dad stopped appearing on the channel. But he sent me a couple of albums, and I have a couple of tracks on this list from those albums. Stuff I'd never heard before, because he's from the Netherlands and these bands are from that area as well. So the first one I've chosen is Song of the Marching Children by Earth and Fire. And that's the name of the album as well, Song of the Marching Children. And it's brilliant. Like, it's a 70s album. I'd never heard of the group before, never heard of the album before. And it's a proper epic tune, like really up and down. I can't even describe it. Like, it's just something so good. Great Hammond organ, great mellotron, like proper classic prog in epic form. And I feel like no one really knows them because, like I said, I'd never heard of them. I've never seen anyone else speak about them either. And you should totally check it out because it's really good.
Awesome. Love that. Yeah, she actually just played that song on our Prog radio show. Yeah, so every Thursday at 12 noon Eastern, progradio.com, you can hear the Prog Couple show. A little bit of a shameless plug for the two of us there. Great choice.
Thanks.
Great choice. Yeah, that's I love doing these types of things because you can really turn people on to sort of different and odd stuff that you may not hear otherwise, and that's why we're here. You know, the next one for me is maybe a more common one. I'd still say it's underrated even in his catalog. This is really just a live masterpiece. I don't think there's any studio recording of this. But there's many different performances of this lineup of this band playing this. But we're going to focus on the Roxy and Elsewhere version. Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention and Don't You Ever Wash That Thing. Oh my gosh, the drumming between Ralph Humphreys and Chester Thompson on that, just absolutely insane. It's there. It really is a live piece. And so just bringing that to the people in a live setting the way they did back in 73, 74 era. absolutely unreal. And the xylophone and everything going off in that, and the melodic choices, it's really cool. And you guys probably know Frank Zappa, but that's definitely an underrated epic piece for
It
sure.
is, yeah, yeah. I think his live stuff in general
Hmm.
is underrated because there's so much of it that it's nearly impossible to get through it all. His studio albums are so popular, we all know them really well. But yeah, you're right, the live stuff, once you actually dive into it, which is very difficult to do, to
Which
be
I've
fair, you
done.
have to have a lot of time on your hands to dive into his live stuff. So yeah, a lot of people just don't hear it. Like, so you know, you're absolutely dead right.
I one time when I was working, I remember just a period of days where I took the entire six collections of "You Can't Do That on Stage Anymore" and just listened to them all over like a week in
Oh,
the car.
Jesus. Yeah, Cody has a job where he can listen to his music. I'm like, it's not fair. But all right. So my next pick is again from the stuff that Gert sent me, and the Tangent. Now I had heard of them because Roina Stolt was in the band when they kind of started off.
Hmm.
But this album is a more modern one, and Roina isn't there. It's Andy Tillison
Yeah,
on vocals. Jonas Reingold is there. Theo Travis, who I feel like is on everything now. Actually, you can't listen to anything without Theo being on it, and a few other lads. I can't remember what their names are, but the album is called Songs from the Hard Shoulder, and there's 4 tracks on it.
soft shoulder.
Held up 3 fingers and said there's 4 tracks on it. There's 4 tracks on it, and 3 of them are really long. But I've picked out the opening track. It's called "The Changes," and the changes it does, it just constantly changes from one thing to the other. It's one of those kind of roller coaster pieces. They're telling a story throughout. There's like epic moments in there. I only showed it to Cody the other day, and he was like, "Oh my god!"
That's crazy. It was awesome. Very good.
Fantastic musicianship in there. Oh my good god, absolutely fabulous stuff. Like, they're a really, really good group, and their chops are mighty. So I would highly recommend checking it out if you haven't heard it.
Yeah, I concur with this. Honestly, anything with Jonas Reingold is really going to be worth your attention. I mean,
And Theo Travis,
and Theo
Jesus, he's
Travis.
some player. My god.
Yeah, and Andy Tillison too. I mean,
Yeah,
that tangent is really good. And then, of course, you can branch off to Car Mechanic. You can branch off to Flower Kings, and
that's
just
it. Yeah, just so many groups like in the one.
yeah,
Branch off to Stephen Wilson and everything with Theo. Like, it's just awesome.
yep,
But yeah, no, that album, Songs from the Hard Shoulder, check it out.
soft shoulder. Yeah, okay, that's a great choice. And so that was kind of a natural lead in to the next choice for me, even though the bands are not connected, but it is very modern.
Yeah.
And this was a really high point of when Tara and I actually took the 6 hour drive to Ottawa, Ontario to see this band, and it was worth every mile.
There's a vlog up on my channel of that trip. You should check it out because it was some laugh.
It was awesome. Yeah, you should check it out.
If you want to see Cody licking a big bull statue's balls, then go and watch the video.
That's right, because I can't lick my own. Now, if I could, I'd still have her do it. Anyway, so we went to see Big Big Train at a college out in Ottawa, and it was really awesome. And there's this live piece that there is a studio version of the song. It's called Apollo, but it really shines when it's live on stage. Ricard Skoblum on guitar. I'm not Swedish, so I can't pronounce that
I
name.
think
I'm
it's
sorry.
Ricard Sjoblom.
Oh yeah, yeah. Alberto Brevine on everything. There's not really any vocals in that, but
Ricard does like a little scat singing in
yeah,
the middle of it.
it's very epic.
Yeah.
The drumming from Nick DiVirgilio is fantastic, and you know what's funny is that I have another Nick DiVirgilio song in this list. Maybe even one from my shirt. Anyway, but yeah, Apollo from Big Big Train. It really just is an awesome live piece. It would work well if you were to listen to the Frank Zappa piece that we were talking about a bit ago, and this, because it's very heavy on the instrumental side of things, and it's really interesting, and it's 10 minutes of glory. It's just absolutely very epic, and that band as a whole is underrated.
Mm-hmm. It was a very cinematic moment in the night, wasn't it? You know,
Yeah.
like it felt like we were kind of like going back like this in the chairs, like when they started playing it. It was awesome, like totally epic.
I'd say that the most prog thing that the prog couple could ever do is drive halfway across the province to see a prog band in a college.
Yeah. Have you ever heard something so nerdy in your life? Like, you know. Yeah,
But we
no,
love you, Gregory Spotton.
we do, and you know, I have a short up on my page here actually where he let me record like me saying I'm here with Greg, the bass player from Big Big Train, and he was just like happy to do it. He was so sweet.
I think we're gonna have to get him on the channel.
I think we will. Yeah, what do you think, lads? Will we get Gregory Spotton on for a little chat? I think that would be good crack. Anyway, my last pick is an IQ track. And again, I feel like I'm going to have the prog connoisseurs now going, that's not very underrated, but I think it is. So I have chosen a track from The Road of Bones. We all know the title track very well. But this is a big long piece. I think it's 12 minutes or something like that. And it's called Until the End. And it's like, belter. Absolute belter. And they have a lot of those. And I feel like they're very overlooked. Now, they kind of did make a bit of a comeback with this new album that came out, Dominion, but not enough for my liking. They're a very, very good band, like extremely talented, extremely proggy, just perfect. And yeah, I feel like we need to kind of pull them up a little bit more, so check them out. You are going to love it, I can guarantee that.
People kind of compare their sound to Marillion, but I don't really see it. They're very different, and they really don't sound like anyone else. I mean, they call it neo-prog, but it just kind of, they are what they are, and they are great.
It was of the same time that they came out.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, Peter used to wear the makeup like Fish on stage and stuff, so people started to kind of compare the two, but they have totally different sounds.
Especially, like, both bands have just went like this, right?
Yeah. I think IQ are a lot more similar to Palace than they are to Marillion, actually. But yeah, that's my last pick anyway, so Cody gets to end us now on a high note.
Really a high note. Well, I mean, honestly, all of these are high notes. She has the best taste, not only of any woman I've ever met, but any person I've ever met. You really do. You know, I can't even believe you. I love you so much.
I love you too.
Now, this next song, well, there's a bit of a backstory behind this and the connection to the shirt that I'm wearing here. So, one day I was working, and she was working, and I was driving along doing my night job, and I was listening to a lot of Spock's Beard, like it was hours of Spock's Beard, and she gets in the car after. I'm like, I've been listening to Spock's Beard all day. I've just been having an absolute evening of just this amazing band. I love them. And of course, the song I'm talking about is At the End of the Day from the V album, which is on my shirt. Now, we get home, and she sees that she got some mail that she had ordered. And she goes, oh, this is a birthday gift for you. Now, my birthday's next month, and I'm impatient. So she opens it up. I'm like, gimme.
Yeah, like a child. I want it now.
So I open it up after listening to Spock's Beard all day. And it's this shirt with the V album on the cover. And this is my favorite Spock's album.
Tell me, lads. Great timing.
It was excellent timing. I was like, no way.
Yeah.
No way. I don't even have a Spock's Beard shirt. Now I do, and I love it. And this piece of music, at the end of the day, is just absolutely fantastic. The way it opens up this record. Neil Morse just being a genius. Ryo Akimoto on keys, as well as Neil. Neil, being predominantly a keyboardist, is kind of an everything man. I mean, he can play guitar, he can sing, he writes a lot of the material. And Nick DiVirgilio making another appearance. Absolutely fantastic drum production. Yeah, we love you, Nick. But no, Spock's Beard is just one of those records where if you hear it and you get it, you're not really the same after. And that song is just a really great epic to open up the album. And they were not ashamed of making their own thing while really honing in on their influences, right? And letting you know, like, a lot of people went back and listened to classic prog because of them. I mean, I've actually collaborated with people that say, yeah, I know Gentle Giant because of Neil Morse and, you know, Spock's Beard and all that.
Yeah.
And so, there you go. If you don't know Spock's Beard because maybe you're stuck, or maybe you just don't know certain areas of newer prog music, At the End of the Day is a great way to start you off.
All right. Well, there we have it, folks. 10 underrated epic prog tunes. You know, we could have done so much more. Like, when you really start to think about this subject, there's a lot of stuff that's just kind of been pushed down. So let us know in the comments what you think. And we'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for joining me again, Cody.
Anytime. She'll be back on Brockway's Vinyl Bites soon, too.
I will. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.